And good afternoon from down under. Hopefully everyone is fine wherever you are located in this world, or in fact in any other galaxy that happens to look at this from the future. My name is Ozzy Stern and I'm a country Victorian gamer in the country of Australia. And for a couple of weeks now I have been slowly, busily painting my Star Wars Legion Rebel faction, making some updates, making a few videos on where I've gone with painting, my good, my bads, and generally letting you guys know how I've gone about creating my force so far. As you can see in the front row here, I have pretty much completed one squad of Rebel troopers. So, last time I had you on screen, you would have noticed that most of them had some sort of base colouring on it. Now I have to go in. I have done some shading, I've done hair, eyes in different on a couple of them, some glosses, just move him out of the way so you can see his eyes, and completed almost all of what I want to do for a unit. The next step, of course, is to varnish them, and then I will be working on the bases, putting some sand, some rocks, just to give it a bit of urban look. As you can see from behind, I've already started pre-painting my next squad. And as you can see, some of them have already got a bit of extra color. You can see the Duros has already got a skin color that is slightly different from the one in front. In the books that I have, it talks about the Duros species having a coloration of grey-green all the way up to the blues that you see on Cad Bane sort of thing. So this one is going to have a very much like a Green Martian look to him sort of thing. No, I'm not going to put any antennas on him, but it looks pretty good. I still have Luke Skywalker and General Solo to do, as well as my two AT-ATs. But other than these ones, I've also finished a Rebel officer, my medical droid, 21B droid, and my R5 droid. So those three have been completed. But lo and behold, my next project has arrived as well. So beyond painting my Armadas, my Legion stuff that I am working on, and I will be working on them for some time yet, I still have another 2 squads of Rebel troopers, a second AT-AT, as well as I'm looking to purchase a Chewbacca, as well as maybe looking at purchasing some 3D modeled Rebel veterans that are not so much in that desert camo outfits, but more so maybe could be construed as more urban or even foresty looking with capes and stuff like that, like the Endor commandos. But like I said, my next project beyond Legions has arrived. My Providence class has arrived. Now, I'll probably get the Providence out on the table to do some Armada games in the coming weeks, but I will not be painting this as yet, primarily due to time constraint, and I really prefer the idea of painting all my Legions before I go on to another project. I shall be doing some varnishing of some completed models that I've done so far. That's up the top. And also spray painting some new, or my third squad down the bottom, as well as all the weapons for the ATRT. So, as you can see, I've got my spray cans, I've got some tools that I can use, brushes to move around, etc. Some cobwebs. That's just basically shows that I've got some good airflow in there at the moment. The creaky in the background is from my door, from my shed. So as you can hear, yeah, pretty good, well ventilated area. The paint that the varnish is this one here, priced in Australian for $30, is anti-shine matte varnish by Army Painter. I find this is actually quite good for a varnish. It doesn't cake up or anything too much, and I can usually get a good spread out of it. The undercoat is again the Color Primer Skeleton Bone, like I have for all of the ones recently, simply because it is a good color and it actually helps start the base process as well. After I do the varnishing, I will be going on to doing the spray paint of the bottom ones and just basically leaving them to dry for a couple of hours before I turn them around and start the next one. So always best to shake up the can really well. I just use a cardboard box as my spray paint area. The box underneath the open area is for when I'm doing paints. The other one up the top is more so for varnishing. I think it doesn't matter if it gets on the rest of this thing, it's a clear coat. So just basically making sure that there is a good distance between yourself and the model sort of thing. And you can go heavy or you can go light. I generally do a light because sometimes with heavy varnishes they just cake in certain areas. So I do test on the side here sort of thing, make sure that it hasn't got any clumps or anything. So just and that's all I do. Then I come around to the other side, or I shift the box around and do the other side at the same time, seeing I'm doing it from the top. So and finally doing the back. Obviously, once it's all dry, I'll have a look and see if there's any issues with the paint, or, well, the varnish, to make sure that I've got a good coverage on all the sections. Making sure that I haven't caked any details off, sort of thing. But meanwhile, getting down to these ones. So with these ones, I set them up in the box, and as you can see, I've also got my tech will also be painted with these ones. I do like to set them pretty much on the back first. Shake up the can Again, use the side panels just to make sure that it's getting a nice even coat. You don't want it just to go spurt out at different points. And that's about it for the first prelim. What I'll generally do is I'll now go away, leave it for about an hour to dry out in the air, and then come back and use my tools to spin them around and catch the next half of the model. Usually after that, I will need to look at them more closely using the pliers, picking them up, see if there's any sections that I didn't get very well. And then I'll be able to start doing the next layer of paint, all the base coats. For these ones, they will dry probably for the next couple of hours. Then I'll come inside, I'll take them inside and start the basing process. Alright, that's it for me for the moment. Stay tuned. I am going to open up my latest Star Wars Armada project that I will be starting on once I have finished the Legion, and just going to have a brief discussion about my plans on painting it. I do plan on using this same coloration that I have for the models as a base coat. Either that or a uniform grey or a white. I'm leaning more so towards the skeleton bone simply because I do want to do a white overtones to it, a light white, like a slightly off-white. Anyway, that's it for now. Stay tuned to my unboxing of my Providence class destroyer. Bye. And welcome to my second video of the day from down here in Australia. So what I'm briefly going to be doing is just discussing about what I plan on doing for my Providence class Dreadnought to turn it into a Rebel version. Now, I don't want to open it up and just go ahead and just do it completely right now, simply because I have other projects that I'm working on with the Star Wars Legions. But I thought I'd show you, the audience, some of the tips that I would suggest when you actually start looking at it, at doing a custom configuration or a custom paint job. What I find sometimes useful is to do a printout of said model, preferably in black and white as best as possible, and just start jotting down things that you're going to do. So in this way, one of the things that is going to be is that a lot of this area is going to be in the white tonal area. There's going to be sections that are going to be in a red color. So where is those reds going to be? Now, I like the idea of maybe this area right here, similar to what we see in the color on the actual template being red, just that bulb which if you look on the ship itself is this section right here. I may just leave the docking bay area as is. Maybe I've heard some people suggest a blue glow around the edges just to show a bit. Obviously getting rid of some of the iconography that is there for the separatists, so that will go. The prow I'll probably do also in a red. Just the top of it, do this whole section right here in red. I'll have some yellows and I'll have some sections that are just the panel sections that are in orange and yellow sort of thing. Doing a lot of the actual bridge sections in a shade so that it pops. Engines are going to be a blue, which unfortunately looks like my son has taken the... No, that's a dark blue. So that will be a bluish color, probably a little bit lighter than that, but yeah, maybe blue around here. And so that is some of the steps that I usually do to actually start the process of customization. Obviously, when I'm doing something that there is already documented photos and graphics of, like what I painted for the Sea Rock, for the Broken Horn version, as well as for the Hammerhead Corvettes, then that makes it a little bit easier. But doing something from scratch where there is not a lot of details, and the actual comic that featured Rebel 1, which is the Providence class Dreadnought, is slightly different than this one. In fact, the actual Providence on the cartoon in the comic does not have this docking bay section. Instead, it's got an extended wing that floats out all the way across here. In the comic, it doesn't even show this bottom little sail area, primarily because everything is looking from an angle from above. But that, and probably doing some bands in the yellows and oranges and shading along here, I'll probably keep this area fairly dark. Same thing in here to say that it's been superstructured, but all the exposed areas will stay that more higher bone white color. So I noticed that doing the pencils, it really wasn't giving you a clear showing of what the colors are going to be like. I have since used some textures to really give you an idea of the colorations. You can see where the red sections are going to be. The yellows are going to be here, here, there, and right where the symbol is, and some orange as well. Not too much in the way of orange. I think the orange is going to be more piecemeal in very much, while the rest of it will remain that bony white color and with some shading for all the paneling lines. Obviously, if I decide to add any more colors, it will probably be more in the way of the oranges, or maybe one or two in the very light gray colors like the ash gray, just to give it a little bit of context. So that's it for me. I'm going to sign off now. So happy gaming, and please like, subscribe, and leave any comments that you would like. But for now, from Aussie Stern, bye.